Okay. Yeah, thank you guys so much for popping in today. We're gonna just do like a follow-up kind of training session type thing. It'll be a quick one, and what is going on? I'm recording this, so I can either send it out to you if you need like to watch it again, or this will be sent out to the rest of the volunteers. Um, yeah, so there's only a few of you in. If you have any questions, raise your hand. I think there's like an option to raise your hand in here or yell at us through the screen. Yeah, so yeah, thank you guys very much for signing up for this. We're a really small group, but I'm hoping that this can continue building momentum. This program, in regards to the Nature Trust, we're in partnership with the Atlantic Water Network, but we're also funded by the Carlton North Community Foundation and the Davis Conservation Foundation. Yeah, so general housekeeping, ask questions whenever you'd like to. The webinar is recorded. And just a reminder, as volunteers, all field work right now is postponed due to the risk of fire in New Brunswick. So we've asked volunteers to not enter the field because of the recommendations from the government of New Brunswick. So until we get some better weather, we're kind of at a standstill. So, so our mission at the Nature Trust, we conserve private lands in New Brunswick. We have over 98 nature preserves throughout the province and over 14,000 acres conserved. A lot of these are accessible trail system nature preserves, but most of them are quite remote, and a lot of the remote ones you won't go to as a volunteer unless you're going out with staff. We're asking volunteers to do like trail maintenance and then this water monitoring program. So I will hand it off to Emma, and then we'll kind of touch base again after Emma's presentation on the program at the Nature Trust.
Great, thanks, Tessa. Yeah, so I'm Emma Kinley, and I think I've met the two of you in the field when we came up to do our in-field portion. But yeah, this recording, I guess, will be sent out to folks that weren't able to make it into the field. Yeah, so I'm the program manager for Atlantic Water Network. And Atlantic Water Network is kind of a hub for community-based water quality monitoring. And what that means is we kind of provide support to various groups in the form of resources and training, as well as loaning water quality equipment at no cost. And right now, we're kind of focusing our efforts in the Willistic or the St. John River watershed. So the map that Tessa had up earlier was a great map showing all of the preserves, the nature preserves, and a lot of those fall within that watershed area, which is why our two projects match up so perfectly, because we really wanted to get more data from that area. So I'll also mention that Atlantic Water Network is a project of Makeway, which is kind of like our mothering platform that provides us with some operational support. And this kind of lets us focus on the more exciting water-based work rather than admin stuff that I don't want to focus on. Yeah, so you can go forward there. That's all. So what our plan for today was kind of just to give a recap of what we went over in the field. And for those that might be listening in to this later, they have some kind of reference point when they do go into the field to do their sampling. So the first, I've kind of broken this into three different sections of of the information that we kind of like provided in the field. So that first one being like to choose a location and make a schedule for monitoring. And that is something that like the volunteers for this with sampling at nature preserves don't really have to worry about, because Nature Trust has already completed these steps. Like they've already picked out the sites, and they have an idea of how frequent they want them monitored. So all you have to do is go to the sites and collect the sample with or collect the information with the equipment that they'll be providing you. So we're going to focus more on the number 2, understanding your equipment and how to use it. And then the third portion, which Tessa will go into a little bit more detail, but documenting your test results. Obviously, if you're going to bother to go out and sample, you want to make sure that you're documenting it and that it can be shared, and it's not just sitting in a notepad somewhere, that it can be used for further research. So there's 2 main ways that we're going to get folks to do that. You can write notes in the field and then bring it back to your computer and enter the information online to Water Rangers platform, or you can have your phone device. If it's an iPhone, you can add an app to your phone and enter that information digitally. So yeah, the 2 pictures that I have there are the 2 sites that we visited when we came up to do our in-person training. And the 2 sites, were great because they were accessible. Our first site at the lake, we hiked for like maybe 10-15 minutes. It was right off a road, very accessible, which is what you want to kind of the first thing you want to consider when you're picking a site. And then the second one, off the public boat launch in Woodstock, was again super accessible. You could just drive right to it and walk out onto the floating dock there and take your sample. So if any of you are considering doing additional sampling outside of the nature preserve sampling that the Nature Trust has you doing, you can loan these kits and do that. But I'll just encourage folks, if you want to do some sampling like in your backyard, in a water body that's close to you, to kind of have a plan in mind of what it is that you're looking to monitor for. And we encourage you to, come back and monitor the same place more than once, because, a snapshot in time, if you take it one particular day, it can tell us a little bit about the water quality, but it doesn't give us like that big picture of what's going on in the environment or what's going on with the water quality for the long term. It just so coming back and resampling can give you a better idea. And the last point that we kind of talked about in the field was just the field safety should be top of mind always when you're going into the field. You should be mindful of wildlife. You should be mindful of hazards. So when you're getting close to a water's edge, looking for slippery rocks, making sure that you're on stable banks, those sorts of things. And it's always a good idea to sample in pairs. If you go into the field by yourself, your risk of your safety risk goes up. So having someone with you drops that risk, just to have a partner. Yeah. Okay, so understanding your equipment and how to use it. So we're using the Water Rangers Freshwater Explorer kits, and this is a backpack that's filled with water quality measuring tools that are designed to be used by anyone and everyone. And it includes, it's packed with all sorts of things. It's got a field guide that walks you through each test that you'd be taking and why you're testing for that particular test. And then it also has a waterproof recording or data recording booklet and a pen that comes with the kit. But I would encourage you when you get the kit just to make sure before you get in the field that you do have a writing utensil, because I feel like pens and pencils go missing very easily. So just make sure you have one on hand before you walk really far and then realize you don't have any way to record the information. The reacher stick is in there, and there's a sample cup, a thermometer, test strips, dissolved oxygen testing kit, a conductivity meter, a Secchi disc, and a small towel. And that small towel is meant to kind of wipe down your equipment after you're done with it, especially that reacher stick. Because it's collapsible, so you can extend it and collapse it. And if it's wet when it's put away, it wears it down a lot quicker. So we just ask to put it away dry. So that's why that towel's in there. Yeah, so we'll move forward to the next slide there. So just to talk a little bit more about the different tests that are in there, or the different pieces of equipment, and what water quality parameters they're testing for. So the first thing I'll talk about is the thermometer, which I think if you advance one, there should be an arrow that pops up. Yeah, there we are. So it's just, I think most people know what a thermometer is used for, but it measures air or water temperature. And in these kits, they're just little small, and I think they're all black, but we've added flagging tape to them to make them a little bit more visible and also easy to hang on a tree branch when you're out in the field and taking your air temperature. So with a thermometer, I mean, temperature is a really important parameter when you're talking about water quality, because it affects all of these other or many other water quality parameters, such as dissolved oxygen or pH and conductivity. So it affects all of those things, and it fluctuates from season to season, and with depth, where you're sampling, and all sorts of things to consider. So when you are out in the field, you're going to take your thermometer and you're going to hang it up about a meter above the ground, using a tree branch or something like that. But this is the one piece of equipment that generally will be left behind at the site. So I'm just saying that to remind folks to, when you're taking your air temperature, it only takes about 5 minutes to stabilize. Once you've gotten that reading, put it back in your bag so you don't forget about it. And then the next thing is the conductivity probe. And this measures the ionic content within the water. And that just means the material within the water that carries an electric charge. So that can be dissolved salts or metals, all sorts of different parameters, or all different different things that could potentially be in there carrying an electric charge, things like calcium or nitrogen, some nutrients as well. And yeah, and a jump in conductivity can be an indicator of something being introduced into the environment, like a pollutant. And I'll mention that some ecosystems naturally have high conductivity, and that can just be based on the geology of the site that you're sampling. And that's like another reason why it's important to like monitor an area more than once, or like to go back and sample continuously to kind of get like those baseline values. So if you do see like a spike, that's an indicator of something, some kind of contaminant or something like that. So the next item is the test strips that you have in your kit. And yeah, so these test strips come in a little jar, and when you're taking them out, you want to be mindful that your hands are dry, because as soon as they get wet, they become useless after that. Or I mean, for your test, you don't want to get them all wet. You just want one single strip. And they test for chlorine, pH, alkalinity, and hardness. And yeah, so chlorine is something that's used in cleaning products or in swimming pools. It's kind of rarely found in nature at all. So to see anything above zero when you go to the sites is it's definitely something that needs to be looked at a little bit further. Yeah, and I don't expect there to be readings higher than zero when you're using that test. And pH is your potential for hydrogen. So that's a measure of how acidic or how basic the water is. And alkalinity, alkalinity tells us how well the water can neutralize acid or resist a decrease in pH. So certain bedrock, like limestone, has a lot of available calcium carbonate, which can create a buffering ability within your water to help with things like acid rain that's coming in. So alkalinity is an important measurement for that reason. And hardness is related to alkalinity, and they often change together. Hard water is the water that's high in dissolved minerals, which includes things like calcium and other dissolved metals or minerals like that. And then you have your Secchi disc, and a Secchi disc measures the water clarity. And this piece of equipment is a really old piece of equipment. It's been used for 100 years or more. And it's still, a standard that we use today. And it's a visual assessment that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of suspended sediments are in the water column. So having a low reading of a Secchi disc doesn't necessarily mean that the waters are unhealthy. It's just we're more looking for like a change over time with water clarity. So yeah, like some environments are just naturally really muddy or they have a lot of organic material in them. So they're going to have low water clarity, but that might just be part of the ecosystem. And yeah, this disc is, it's really easy to use. You just lower it into the water and you wait until it disappears. And then as soon as it disappears, that's the reading from the surface of the water is what you're going to record. And in some sites, this particular, like if you're just doing it offshore, you might not be able to do this measurement because it'll be in shallow water and you won't have much space to actually get a reading on the Secchi disc, but you can measure just the depth of the water if you're measuring it consistently in the same spot when you're revisiting the site. You can use this device to do that instead. And then we have the dissolved oxygen kit, which is what I really want to focus on because when we were out in the field, we didn't have this piece of equipment with us. Yeah, when our water rangers kits came, they came separately without this. So when we were in the field, we didn't have the opportunity to go through this with everybody. So dissolved oxygen is no surprise that it's talking about the amount of oxygen that's within the water. And that's obviously a very important measurement because living things require oxygen. And it's something that varies from season to season, as well as it varies in water depth and in the location. And what we see is that colder waters will hold more oxygen, and lower dissolved oxygen could indicate that there's presence of more plants or animals using that oxygen, or it could also indicate that there's a possible pollutant. So now that we know all the parts of our kit, I'll get you to advance to the next slide and I'll, yeah, I wanted to add this slide in here. This is, we don't have to watch this video right now because I think it's like 11 minutes or something like that. But I just wanted to link it in here. So when we circulate this presentation, everybody will have a link to this this video, which kind of walks you through all of the tests that I just talked about. And it's a really great watch. So yeah, if you're ready to go out in the field, I would watch this video right before you go out in the field so it's nice and fresh in your mind on how to do all the procedures. So yeah, that's why that's included in there. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so procedures for dissolved oxygen, for the dissolved oxygen test. So this is probably the most complicated test that you're going to do out in the field. And, I have 7 steps here. So it seems really complicated, but once you do it, you'll be like, oh, okay, well, that was easy. Uh, but we just want to make sure that like you're doing it correctly. So I have also linked the clip within the video earlier with the dissolved oxygen portion linked on this page, so the video walkthrough. And then there's also another video clip that I've attached here for a video close-up of like when you crack the ampule and it sucks up the water, and you can see that change in color, the reaction from the solution that's in the ampule and the water that you've sampled. Yeah, so a couple important things to note about the kit, and I don't know how well people can see my screen, but this is the kit right here. It's in a black case, hard case, because it's got glass in it too, so it's keeping the glass safe and it's keeping everything dark and out of the sun. So you want to keep your kit out of the sun and in the dark when you're not using it. And also, when you're doing this test, you want to do it as quickly as you can. So I say quickly, but don't get nervous about doing it quickly. Just like try to be as efficient as possible. So make sure you have all of the bits and pieces of the kit ready to go when you're ready to do your sample. And that's because as soon as you're pulling out the water for the sample, it's interacting with the air. That's causing a chemical reaction to add more oxygen into the water. So you want to collect your sample, have your ampule ready. So you've got your little special container. So this is different from the the cup that you'll be using for your other tests. This is a smaller one that comes in your kit, and it has some measurements on the side, and it's also got some little grooves or ridges at the bottom of the cup. So we're going to call that the DO cup, the dissolved oxygen cup that comes in your kit. And so you collect that water sample, you place your ampule in one of the ridges. There's many ridges, but just, yeah, one of the ridges, the point goes right in there. And when you look at your ampule, you can see that there's like a tiny little line at the very tip or just above the tip, a little white line. And that's its weak point, and that's the piece that's going to break. So when you place the ampule, and maybe I'll do this in a second. I'll show you while I do it, but you'll pull it towards yourself and it'll break at the white line, and then it will start to change color. So let's try it. I'm going to fill it up, and I don't know if it makes sense to put me or stop sharing the screen, and I'll so you can see me better. Okay, so yeah, here's the DO cup that I'm using. And this is my ampule, and you can see that there's a little tiny white piece there. And I'm going to insert it here in the cup in a groove, like so. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to break it, and you can see it's starting to change color, like that. It's filling up, or it immediately fills up with the sample. And then you can pull it out and let it sit for 2 minutes. So this is what it looks like now. And in the kit, you have your timer, and it's perfectly timed for 2 minutes. So I'll turn it over and time it. And it looks like it's really dark already. So I've got lots of oxygen in that sample. And then once you've, put your timer on and you're waiting for the time of 2 minutes, you're going to very carefully pour out your DO cup so you don't pour out the little tip that was broken in it. And where is that little tip? It's in there somewhere. Yeah. And you have your little garbage can that comes in the kit as well. Got a little pitcher on the top here. And you can see that there's a bunch of vials in there right now, or ampules in there, little glass pieces. And you'll put the tiny little point that broke off in there. And then once you've done your color comparison, you can throw the ampule in there as well. So we're going to say that I have waited 2 minutes. And you're going to grab the chart that's in your kit. And then you're going to take your ampule and you're going to start at the lightest color. So you go from left to right. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to appear on the screen, but start with the lightest color and then like go and compare one by one until you kind of find where it belongs. And this is kind of hard to do this way, but I think we're probably in around here. Yeah, so let's just have a look here. Yeah, that looks like about 4 or 5, I'd say 5 milligrams per liter, which is actually not as high as I thought it was. I thought it turned really, really dark blue. And yeah, so I mean, that's you kind of want your water quality or your freshwater system to be in like the area range of like 6 to 12 or something like that would be a good range to see, because I mean a lot of people or a lot of animals and plants rely on that oxygen, so you want it on the higher end. Yeah, so my 2 minutes just ended, but I'm gonna chuck my ampule in my garbage can so I don't stab myself on it while we continue to go through the rest of the presentation. Oh, and I'll just mention before you share again, so the kit and this thing is a little bit tricky to put it in there, but you want to tuck the top piece up first, so it's underneath the little bump that's up there, and then you push down gently, and it's snug inside the kit, so it doesn't just like float around and like glass breaks. I don't want that to happen. So yeah, so it does seem like there's a lot of steps to it. But this presentation is, and to share, we're going to share these slides afterwards so you can watch the videos that are attached, and a close-up of that chemical reaction that happens when you snap the tip. And you can revisit this so you feel confident doing it in the field. But really, like, there's nothing to it. Once you do it, you'll be like, okay, this is fine. Yeah, okay, next slide. Okay, so I just wanted to put this in there just to kind of put a shout out to our partners, Atlantic Data Stream, which Atlantic Water Network is the regional lead for Atlantic Data Stream. And or Atlantic Data Stream serves as an open access water quality database, very similar to what you'll get familiar with Water Rangers. It's an online platform that you can add data to and take data to do your own research. So you can download all of the information. So it's just a platform to make data more accessible to everybody and anyone, and it also makes our data go further. So yeah, so instead of data just sitting on someone's computer at some organization, and they've completed their reporting for the year and it just sits there, it can be used by another group who's maybe doing a larger research project or something like that. So that's what's so great about these online platforms that are open access. And Water Rangers and DataStream talk to each other too. So they're similar platforms, and the information that we'll be adding to water rangers. The Nature Trust has created an account that will also share that information on data streams. So your data won't only be in one platform, but it'll be in both. So people can access it in both places, which is a great thing. So there's a link to the website here. So when you're going through the slideshow, you can click on that as well. And then one last slide. Yeah, so just to mention for our funders, so our project that we've been working on in the Willistic or the St. John River watershed is from data to stewardship, assessing barriers and gaps and addressing them by, providing training where we need to provide training and support where we need to provide support. And we're funded by the Canadian Water Agency and their Freshwater Ecosystem Initiative, which is from the Government of Canada. And then we also have funding from TD, Friends of the Environment Foundation. And yeah, that's, I think, the last slide that I have, unless I've forgotten something.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, just our
Awesome.
contact information.
Cool. Thank you so much, Emma. Yeah, we'll share all these slides out with everyone, but feel free to follow up with Shanna or Emma if you have any questions on that end. Very briefly, we have about half an hour left, or 25 minutes. I'd like to go over, so we established a freshwater monitoring program protocol through the Nature Trust. I have that document prepped and ready to go. So as I'm going through this, send me an email if you would like the actual protocol. It goes through, other than what I have on this webinar, we have some slides of the steps you would go through when at a monitoring site. So pretty much exactly what Emma just presented on, but just in kind of like a broken down step-by-step type thing. But yeah, just in terms of the program, our freshwater monitoring program is a volunteer-based initiative to track water quality on nature preserves. Our stewardship group, they're beginning to do restoration work. This could be silviculture work, this could be tree planting, pretty much anything. And we're using this monitoring program to establish baseline and post-restoration work monitoring. So volunteers will use the Water Ranger kits to collect standardized data at 3 monitoring locations per site, an upstream, an intermediate, and a downstream site of the restoration work. So each nature preserve has predetermined monitoring stations, like Emma said. So if you're doing monitoring for our organization, you're going to specific areas of our nature preserves. If you're using the Water Ranger kits for personal use or helping out another organization, you may need to have coordinates to go to. But with us, this is all on our landscape app. So landscape, if you're going out, will have these plots for you. Stations must be all visited during a monitoring outing, and please review the property's landscape map before heading out. So like just kind of touching base on what Emma said too, there's field safety protocols. So we're asking volunteers to never go monitoring alone, always travel in pairs. If you're feeling safe or unsafe in any nature preserve, you're not required to continue. You can let us know. Try to carry a first aid kit, wear appropriate footwear and clothing, and be tick aware, and inform someone that you know of your route. All of our nature preserves, we are sending volunteers out if it's accessible and if it is safe for you to be out there. For instance, the Wilson Family Nature Preserve that we have predetermined sites at this moment, there was a huge body of water on the other side of the nature preserve, which would be awesome for us to monitor, but we also cannot send volunteers into unsafe areas where this nature preserve does not have a trail. And and is a lot of bushwhacking. So we're aware of these things and we're not going to send you anywhere that you're unsafe. So for data collection and submission, we're encouraging all volunteers to install the Water Rangers app on their phone and to log water quality data on site. Of course, you can use the field books and then submit the data once you get home. But I'm going to show you some of the pages on the app in a little bit. But if you prefer to use the field notebook during your visit, please enter your results into the app after the outing or on the actual website. So this is the actual website for Water Rangers. When you sign up, you will get a confirmation email. You just have to confirm that, and then you'll be good to sign on. So once you're into the Water Rangers website, you will see groups. You're going to click on groups, and this is what pops up. Under search, you will search Nature Trust. You could search Nature Trust of New Brunswick, but what's going to pop up is, you can see at the bottom, there's a Nature Trust of New Brunswick group. So this is what you're going to see if you click on that group. So it's the Nature Trust of New Brunswick, Nature Trust Freshwater Monitoring. You're going to request to join this group, and then you just have to wait for me to be notified of your request, and then I will let you in. Everyone on this webinar is currently in the group. But yeah, this is what it looks like on my end. I've created for this webinar, I did create a location if you guys want to try to go in and use the app on your own. I'm learning with you because I'm really, I logged onto the app and like tried to set everything up. It's a bit, there's a bit of a learning curve, I think. And just to let you know, when you are creating a login, you do have to join the group on the website, and then you can find the location on your app. I was struggling to find the group on the app on my phone. So what I had to do is I had to go onto like the computer version, search up the app, search up the group like how I just showed you, request to join it, and then once I was able to join, then I was able to find the group. So this is the app. This is what you're going to be looking for in the App Store. Emma, I'm pretty sure it's in the Android store too. I'm not sure though. So if anyone wants to contest that, feel free.
Yeah, the last I checked it wasn't, but I mean it could have
Okay.
changed because I think that are planning
Mhm.
on releasing an app for Android, definitely for Apple. Not sure about Android.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just check because I have an
Okay.
Android phone and
Oh,
I'll
perfect. Okay.
confirm.
Lovely. So yeah, this is what you're gonna see on the app. So this is my personal login. So this is the first on the far left. This is what you see when you first log into the app. Um, like I said, I'm learning with you. So when you go in, you will click on this green plus button, and it brings up this page in the middle. So this comes up with your name, the main group, and again, you have to join the group on the website first. And then after that, once you go to confirm, there will be sample locations. When I was using the app, I could not find the sample location, the test one I created. This could be because the test location I created was at Wilson's Family Nature Preserve, and I'm nowhere near that. So it might just be that my phone didn't pick it up because I'm not in the same location. But as I continue using this app, I will let everyone know if I'm wrong in that. Yeah, so next page. So yeah, just in terms of the app and adding field observations, there is a very easy report to go through. You'll go through and add in any of the water quality parameters that you're testing, um, any air temperature, and then you're also doing wildlife observations, and that's just to help us. Yep, Emma.
Yeah, I was just gonna let you know that I just looked it up and it is not currently available for Android phones. It's
Okay.
just for iPhone users, unfortunately. But I think that I understand that they're working on also offering it to Androids as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you for looking that up. Um, okay. So, yeah, we at the Nature Trust have the Water Ranger kits stored. Anyone or any volunteers are free to borrow one of our kits. Our office is 649 Queen Street in Fredericton, or we can coordinate staff to do a drop off. Our stewardship staff are always on the road throughout the province, so we can set something up to meet. To request a kit, contact the the engagement coordinator, which is me, in advance to arrange pickup or delivery. Even if you are in Fredericton and you need a kit, if you come into the office, you can get one right away. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to go over the Wilson Family Nature Preserve. So this is the site that we currently have set up for monitoring to start. Unfortunately, with the recommendations from the government where we are not in the field, this has kind of put a standstill on this monitoring. But you can see, so the Wilson's Family Nature Preserve is near Coles Island. And on the right side of the screen at the bottom, you'll see WFUS. So that's the Wilson Family Upstream site. There's one in the middle at the 21, and then the Wilson's Family Downstream site is a little bit above. So like I said, those sites are already in landscape. We're hoping that if someone is going out to monitor, they would be able to run a landscape um, visit. I understand that using a landscape and using water rangers on your phone can eat up a lot of the battery. And that's why we're hoping that you would go out with a friend. But yeah, definitely having landscape on your phone so that you're able to find these locations. If you're not using landscape, you can let me know and I can give you the coordinates directly. But yeah, so what we're hoping for is at a site that we would like monitoring to be happening. Volunteers are going out with a partner. They're going to the sites, going through the protocols, going to each site at the preserve, and then submitting the data to us or to water rangers. Um, yeah, so we, I guess that's the end. I'm sure there's a ton of questions, but feel free to follow up with me at any time. We have some upcoming events happening as long as the burn risk lowers. But we do have a volunteer training day happening September 6th at Cowie Taylor Nature Preserve. We will be combining our water quality monitoring with this general volunteer training day. If you're in the area and you've already gone through training, feel free to come out to be like a mentor or gain more training. We were supposed to have our 10th annual Great Fundy Coastal Cleanup on the weekend. Unfortunately, with everything that's going on, that has been postponed, and a date has not been set due to how this could go on for a while. So as information comes up with that, I will let you know. And then September 20th, we have a mushroom photography event happening at our Beardsley Hill Nature Preserve. We have past webinars on our website if you're interested in more webinars. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if anyone has any questions, or Emma, if you have anything you want to follow up with. Yeah, other than that, I'm really happy to have you guys here and I'm happy to have everyone involved in the program. It's really exciting. Um, it's brand new to the Nature Trust. We don't normally um, deal with water, but obviously preserving the lands, there's that connection with the water and we're responsible for that. So